The Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion. The Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion, situated in Axum, Ethiopia, is believed to be the home of the Ark of the Covenant, arguably the most significant religious artifact in history. Ethiopian tradition asserts that this sacred chest, containing the original 10 Commandments, has been safeguarded within the church for over 3,000 years. Access to the Ark is limited to a single individual, a guardian monk chosen for life, who is permanently confined to the church grounds. Not even the head of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church is permitted to enter the inner chamber where it resides. The original church was constructed in the 4th century and has undergone several cycles of destruction and reconstruction. The current guardian dedicates his entire life to prayer before the Ark and burning incense. Upon his death, he must select his successor before passing away. While the authenticity of the Ethiopian Ark remains a subject of scholarly debate, the restrictions surrounding it remain absolute. No archaeologists, historians, or religious leaders from outside Ethiopia have ever been granted permission to examine it. The Coca-Cola Vault. The Coca-Cola Vault, located in Atlanta, Georgia, safeguards one of the world's most prized business secrets, the original recipe for Coca-Cola. This formula, created by pharmacist John Pemberton in 1886, has been protected for over 135 years and represents billions of dollars in value to the company. Only a handful of individuals alive today possess knowledge of the complete recipe, and they are strictly prohibited from traveling together on the same aircraft to mitigate the risk of accidental loss. The vault is situated within the World of Coca-Cola Museum in downtown Atlanta, although visitors are only permitted to view the exterior of the secure room. The recipe is stored in a high-tech safe that requires multiple security keys to unlock. Company executives assert that the formula has never been fully documented in a single location, with different components stored separately as a preventative measure against theft. Even high-ranking Coca-Cola employees are denied access to it. The company has successfully leveraged the secret formula as a marketing asset, integrating it into Coca-Cola's brand image. Despite numerous attempts by competitors and scientists to reverse engineer the beverage, the original formula remains protected, solidifying its status as one of America's most closely guarded business secrets. Fort Knox. Fort Knox, located in northern Kentucky, is the site of the United States Bullion Depository, one of the most secure buildings on the planet. The depository was constructed in 1936 during the Great Depression, a period when America required a secure location to store its national wealth. This fortress holds approximately 147 million ounces of gold bullion, representing roughly half of America's gold reserves and valued at hundreds of billions of dollars. The two-story granite and steel structure is fortified with multiple layers of protection, including armed guards, electronic sensors, and massive steel doors. The combination to the main vault is divided among multiple individuals, ensuring that no single person can access it independently. The phrase, "secure as Fort Knox," reflects the building's reputation as being virtually impenetrable. No visitors are permitted inside, and no tours have been conducted since World War II. Even high-ranking officials are rarely granted permission to enter. The last time reporters were allowed access was in 1974, and they were only permitted to view a small section of a single room, Kalaupapa. Kalaupapa, situated on a remote peninsula of the Hawaiian island of Molokai, once served as the world's most isolated leprosy colony. From 1866 to 1969, over 8,000 individuals afflicted with leprosy were forcibly relocated to this windswept peninsula, naturally isolated from the rest of the world by towering sea cliffs on 3 sides. New arrivals were essentially abandoned on the beach, left to fend for themselves in what was largely a place of terminal isolation. The colony's most renowned resident was Father Damien, a Belgian priest who dedicated himself to serving the community and ultimately contracted leprosy himself, passing away in 1889. The colony operated under a strict no-contact policy, prohibiting residents from ever leaving and preventing family visitation. Individuals sent to Kalaupapa were legally declared deceased by the Hawaiian government. Despite remaining alive, their isolation was so profound that residents were forced to construct their own homes, cultivate their own food, and create their own community from the ground up. Medical advancements eventually rendered leprosy treatable, leading to the end of forced segregation in 1969. However, some former residents opted to remain in the only home they had known for many years. Today, access to Kalaupapa is highly restricted to safeguard the privacy of the remaining residents. Visitors require special authorization and must participate in authorized tours or have legitimate work-related reasons to be there. The area is managed as a National Historical Park, but unlike typical parks, tourism is tightly controlled. Limited visitor numbers are permitted each day, making Kalaupapa one of Hawaii's most restricted destinations. McMurdo Dry Valleys. The McMurdo Dry Valleys, located in Antarctica's Victoria Land, represent one of the most extreme and restricted environments on Earth. This 1,900 square mile region is the largest ice-free area in Antarctica, characterized by powerful katabatic winds that can reach speeds of 200 miles per hour, effectively preventing snow accumulation. The landscape is so harsh and frigid that it is often referred to as Mars on Earth. NASA utilizes this location to test equipment intended for future Mars missions. Temperatures can plummet to minus 50 degrees Celsius, and some areas have not experienced precipitation in over 2 million years. The region features peculiar phenomena, such as bloodfalls, where iron-rich water flows from a glacier, oxidizing upon contact with the air and turning a vibrant red color. There are also perennially frozen lakes and rocks that inexplicably move across the valley floors. Scientists hypothesize that microscopic organisms inhabiting the soil and rocks in this region may be analogous to potential life forms on other planets. The pristine environment is so undisturbed that even a single footprint or tire track can persist for decades. Gaining access requires special permits from national Antarctic programs, a process that can take 6 months or longer. Only researchers with approved projects are permitted to visit, and they must undergo medical examinations and survival training before being authorized entry. Transportation is provided by military cargo planes that land on ice runways. Visits are strictly regulated to protect this unique environment, designating it as one of the world's most scientifically important and forbidden zones. Pine Gap. Pine Gap, located 18 kilometers southwest of Alice Springs in the Australian outback, is one of the most secretive spy bases in the world. This joint American-Australian facility is surrounded by electric fences carrying 8,000 volts and guarded by more than 80 armed police officers. It is part of the Echelon program, a global surveillance network operated by the Five Eyes. Any photography is strictly prohibited, and attempts to penetrate the facility are immediately stopped by arrest. The secrecy of the site is so high that even most Australian government employees are unaware of its internal operations. The base plays a key role in the U.S.'s global spy network, controlling satellites to intercept telephone conversations and provide targeting information for military operations worldwide. 38 white satellite dishes, nicknamed golf balls, cover a third of the planet, including China, North Korea, and Russia. After September 11th, all public visits were stopped, ending the 800 annual tours. In 2020, the base was significantly expanded with 10 new satellite antennas. Recent protests over events in Gaza have led to activists blocking roads near Iron Mountain. Iron Mountain? Iron Mountain, nestled deep beneath Pennsylvania, stands as one of the world's most secure facilities. This former limestone mine has been transformed into a vast vault safeguarding invaluable documents, artifacts, and digital data. Reportedly even safer than Fort Knox, the facility boasts multiple layers of security, including armed guards, advanced surveillance technology, and climate-controlled chambers. Its subterranean location provides inherent protection against natural disasters, while an artificial lake helps maintain optimal temperature and humidity levels. Iron Mountain stores master recordings for major music labels, iconic photographs, historical event documentation, and critical legal documents for Fortune 500 companies and government entities. Its clientele ranges from corporations to private collectors seeking ultra-secure storage solutions. The facility functions as a colossal safety deposit box system, granting access only to depositors to their respective items. Adding to Iron Mountain's mystique is the veil of secrecy surrounding its contents. The public is prohibited from accessing storage areas, and employees are bound by stringent confidentiality agreements. Mezhgorye. Mezhgorye, a closed city nestled in Russia's Ural Mountains, is one of the world's most secretive nuclear sites. This heavily guarded town has been completely off limits to outsiders since its construction during the Soviet era in the 1980s. The Russian government has never provided a definitive explanation for the city's purpose, offering various explanations over the years, including claims that it is used for mining, food storage, or emergency shelters. Construction continued even after the collapse of the Soviet Union, suggesting that some essential function is performed here. The city is situated beneath Mount Yamantau, the highest peak in the southern Urals at 5,381 feet, providing natural protection from potential attacks. Western intelligence agencies believe that it serves as an underground command center designed to remain operational during a nuclear war. Satellite imagery reveals roads, buildings, and other structures surrounding the mountain, but the true extent of the underground complex remains unknown. Gaining access to Mezhgorye requires special government permission, which is almost never granted. The area is patrolled by armed guards and encircled by restricted zones. Even most government officials are unaware of the activities within, making it one of the most mysterious places on Earth. Hashima Island. Hashima Island, also known as Battleship Island, is an abandoned coal mining settlement situated off the coast of Nagasaki, Japan. This diminutive landmass was once one of the most densely populated places on Earth, accommodating over 5,000 coal miners and their families within towering apartment complexes. The island earned its nickname due to its resemblance to a Japanese battleship when viewed from a distance. Following the cessation of coal mining operations in 1974, the entire population departed within a matter of months, leaving behind a complete ghost town that has been slowly decaying for the past 50 years. The site is replete with deteriorating structures, corroded machinery, and discarded personal effects. Staircases lead to nowhere, and walls are enveloped in moss. Most areas remain strictly off limits due to the frequent collapse of crumbling walls and the presence of hazardous, unstable mining shafts. Access was entirely prohibited for decades due to safety concerns arising from the precarious conditions. In recent years, limited guided tours have been permitted, but visitors are confined to a small designated path and can only observe the ruins from a safe distance. The majority of the island, including the residential blocks and mining facilities, remains inaccessible. Even tour guides are subject to stringent safety regulations, making Hashima Island one of Japan's most restricted sites. Mount Weather. Mount Weather, nestled in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, stands as one of America's most secretive bunkers. This heavily fortified underground facility was constructed during the Cold War to serve as an emergency command center, enabling top U.S. leaders to maintain control of the country during a nuclear attack or a major disaster. The bunker is designed to accommodate the president, members of Congress, and other key officials for extended periods while the outside world grapples with the aftermath of nuclear war. Despite its significance as one of the most critical backup locations for the U.S. government, most Americans remain unaware of Mount Weather's existence. The facility is built deep within a mountain and is purportedly capable of withstanding direct nuclear strikes. It houses everything necessary for long-term survival, including living quarters, conference rooms, communication equipment, and food reserves. The bunker has its own power plant, water system, and air purification system to sustain life underground for months. Above ground, the site appears to be an ordinary office building, but the true operation is concealed far beneath the surface, hidden from public view. The facility operates in complete secrecy, with no public tours or information available regarding its activities. Nicosia Buffer Zone. The Nicosia Buffer Zone, also known as the Green Line, is a United Nations-controlled, uninhabited area that bisects the capital city of Cyprus. This 2.4-mile wide strip has divided the island since 1974, when Turkish forces invaded Cyprus, sparking a civil conflict between Greek and Turkish communities. Following a ceasefire that ended the fighting, the United Nations assumed control of this abandoned territory, establishing one of the world's longest-lasting military buffer zones. It extends 111 miles across the entire island, but its presence is most conspicuous in Nicosia, where it splits the city in two. The zone is characterized by empty buildings, deserted streets, and abandoned vehicles, remnants of the forced displacement during the conflict. Weeds Weeds grow through broken pavement, and bullet holes still scar the walls after 50 years. United Nations peacekeeping forces patrol the area to prevent renewed clashes. Barbed wire, concrete barriers, guard towers, and warning signs in multiple languages serve as stark reminders of the division, deterring unauthorized entry. Access is strictly regulated, with entry limited to official personnel. Regular citizens are prohibited from crossing except at designated border crossings. The area has inadvertently become a wildlife preserve as animals flourish in the abandoned urban landscape. Despite decades of peace negotiations, the zone remains as divided as ever, solidifying its status as one of Europe's most restricted and poignant locations. RAF Fylingdales. RAF Fylingdales, situated on the North York Moors in Yorkshire, England, is a globally recognized military installation. Its distinctive pyramid-shaped radar is easily identifiable, visible for miles across the surrounding landscape. This facility operates as an early warning system for missile attacks, providing a mere 4-minute alert of approaching threats. It is a component of a missile warning network that collaborates with similar facilities in Alaska and Greenland to provide defense against nuclear attacks. The site is subject to strict no-fly zones. Recent incidents have led to heightened security measures at RAF Fylingdales. In 2024, unidentified drones prompted the deployment of F-15 fighter jets, resulting in the establishment of new exclusion zones. Despite its visibility from public roads, the site remains entirely off-limits to civilians.
I don't think you'll be able to click on the next video until time runs out. 3, 2, 1, you're lost.